up on Brooklyn Review. Carnival 2012!
Republicans from all walks of elected life gathered outside Kings County Republican headquarters to officially kick off the 2012 campaign season. I'm Sherry Carabin, and coming up on Brooklyn Review, I'll have all the highlights.
Young people seeking education today have to take out student loans. This is 100% free. That's real.
We'll have these stories and more next. Welcome to Brooklyn Review. I'm Brian Vines. Happy to be back with you after a little bit of a summer break. Did you go to the parade? Well, thousands of revelers come out to showcase their colorful costumes adorned with jewels, beads, and feathers at the West Indian American Carnival Day Parade on Eastern Parkway. It's apparent that a lot of work goes into making these costumes, known as mas. We went to a mas camp and got a glimpse at what it takes to make these creations come together for the big day.
Borokeete has been one of the oldest bands as far as the Labor Day Parade goes. There's a lot of bands who are presently bands right now that came out of Borokeete. First there were sections and now they are bands. Borokeete has been around for over 20 years. Mas is a getting together of colors, people designing things that they have in their head to present it to other people so they could see something. Our band this year is Caribbean Uniqueness. That basically means some of the unique things of the Caribbean. We have island sunset. We have drunken Creole. We also have an island pool.
The island pool is located off Book Reef in Tobago, in the Caribbean, located in the middle of the ocean. You take a boat to go to the island pool. You can stand out there, and when you stand out there in the waters, you can see all the fishes, the corals, and the white sand. It's nice. I've been designing masks for 5 years. It was a way of expressing myself in a positive way.
Ever since I was a kid, I grew up knowing masks. I believe it was a celebration from way back when the French was part of the islands. That's where it actually came from. If you realize, in New Orleans, which is a French quarter of the United States, they also celebrate Mardi Gras, which basically means carnival. First of all, we start off, I guess, with an idea. We develop what's called a pattern. That's the layout of the material, cut to fit whatever design you have. After that, there's a lot of beading, gluing, feathering, wire bending, stuff like that. We usually start off like around June to start working on the costumes. So it will take us from like June to, like I said, up to Labor Day Sunday. I grew up in Trinidad. That's part of our culture. It is something that most Trinidadians, I will say most people from the Caribbean, grew up knowing.
The best thing I think about designing, putting your own ideas into whatever you're doing, having that passion for creating your own costume.
When the band is on the road, what I would like is for them to see the actual picture of what the theme is. So when you see the waterfall, and then you see the tuk-tuk, and you see the sunset, and the volcano and stuff like that, you actually have a picture of exactly what we are talking about. In the Caribbean, these things are all part of the different islands.
Take that out, girl!
I want them to have a great time. I want them to just enjoy themselves and just feel good about being part of what the day is about.
Secondly, all right. Now, as cute as that little girl was, I know you miss seeing some of the costumes come to life on the Parkway. So stick with us till the end of the show, and we'll show you some of the Labor Day Parade's most fantastical creations. With the primaries behind them, and both national conventions a thing of the past, election season is in full swing. And in the case of Brooklyn, there's little question that the borough is considered a Democrat territory. But Republicans are making some headway. Back in August, candidates and elected officials gathered at the Kings County Republican headquarters on 17th Avenue to kick off their election season with an eye toward winning more seats. And Sherry Carabin was there.
We are the tip of the spear to push back against liberal craziness that wants to put this country, in bankruptcy. And that's the bottom line. And if we don't hold the line and we don't push, we're going to lose this great nation that we all love.
With a focus on jobs and the economy, elected officials and candidates gathered outside Kings County Republican headquarters in late August to officially kick off the 2012 campaign season.
From Obama at the top of the ticket to the bottom of that ticket, we are going to have new Republicans, fresh faces, and we're going to take this country into a new era and into the right direction.
While the event was about generating enthusiasm and support for the candidates, it also proved to be the perfect opportunity to show off some recent improvements to their headquarters, located at 7620 17th Avenue.
1, 2, 3. We just put a new sign up, and we just redid the inside of the office. We got people signing up, new volunteers. It's just an opportunity to bring people together, to hear our elected officials, to see our Republican team in action. And, we've done a lot of good things since I've been chairman. We've elected 4 new people, and we're going to continue to elect people this year. We're going to re-elect all of our current electeds, and we're going to bring more people to the assembly, and we're going to continue that wave.
David Storabin was among those elected. He won a special election to replace disgraced Democratic ex-state Senator Carl Kruger. And now he's fighting to hold on to his seat.
Every time they will tell you you're the underdog, every time they will tell you you cannot win, every time they will tell you you have no hope, give up, surrender, you will lose, you're not serious. Guess what? They said the same thing to me and we won in March. I don't care how long it took us to win, we won.
2 years ago, when I decided to take on a 4-year incumbent, and my colleague, Congressman Grimm, decided to take on an incumbent as well. And like David, many people didn't think we could win. We didn't have a shot, but we had a good team, which comprised of many of you. We had good supporters. We had good working troops that got out there, and we had, most importantly, we had a great message.
Now they're hoping others, like former Assistant District Attorney and Brooklyn native Lisa Gray, will follow in their footsteps. Gray is striving for a seat in the state Senate.
People are hurting all over, all over the city, all over the state, all over the country. So I really think that we need to put in fiscal policies that are smart, that make sense, like reducing taxes, reducing regulation, helping to make the state more business friendly, to keep businesses here. I mean, it's our small business owners that create most of the jobs.
Daniel Kavanaugh, who's running for a seat in the 9th Congressional District, says support for the Republican Party in Brooklyn is growing.
I worked for Senator Golden for several years, and I've seen maybe not the number of registered Republicans grow, but the people that support the party. I myself was a Democrat before I started working for the senator.
I believe this year will be a resounding year, a success for the Republicans, and they're going to bring a message that of hope and a prosperous new year coming up because of the good ideas that they will have in putting people back to work.
Bay Ridge native Tom McCarthy will be testing out that theory. He plans to take on Democratic incumbent 46th District Assemblyman Alec Brooke Crosney this fall. The district covers a large portion of territory, ranging from Coney Island and Brighton Beach to Dyker Heights and Bay Ridge. What's the most important issue for you in this race?
From my perspective, the most important issues facing the state of New York are jobs and the economy. The state of New York has ranked among the bottom of states in job creation over the past couple of decades. We're losing population, people are moving out of the state, and there aren't enough jobs for our young people, and I think that's the critical issue facing the state right now.
Whatever the final outcome of the November election may be, Eaton says one thing is clear. The Republican Party in Brooklyn has put Democrats on notice.
For many, many years, the Democrats came out and would run, and they wouldn't have any primaries, they wouldn't have any general people coming against them in the general election, and they just felt that they could do whatever they wanted, and now they're realizing that no seat is safe.
This is Sherry Carabin reporting for Brooklyn Review.
You've seen those commercials telling you to call now and take control of your future, flashing an 800 number and an offer of financial aid. Well, Job Corps is a government-sponsored program that enables young people 18 to 24 to get their high school equivalency, as well as a number of professional certifications. Fred Brown is in Bed-Stuy with the Corps.
Now this may look like a regular high-tech computer class, but it's actually a government-sponsored program for students enrolled in Brooklyn Job Corps. And for Eddie Diaz and James Jefferson, stumbling across this certified industry program is a dream come true.
Around the neighborhood, I was known as the go-to electronic guy. You know, if it's broken, go send it to Eddie, he'll fix it. And I was online searching for a A+ certification. I didn't want to pay the money because I didn't have a job, so the certification was a problem to obtain. And the A+ certification is costly. So I went on the internet, studying about Craigslist. I found this great advertisement for Brooklyn Job Corps, and it was just an amazing advertisement. Everything was free, free Metro card, free certification, free training, and free job placement. So this was a perfect environment for me. I came and applied. I spoke to Mr. Resto. He gave me a guided tour, and I just fell in love with the place. To the OS.
Oh, cool. They got the ESD kit, safety training.
And the safety training for the ESD.
Walked past this place, didn't even know it existed. And it's amazing to actually work here and see everything they have to offer. You know, catering to young adolescents from the ages of 16 to 24. You could come here, you can get a high school equivalency diploma and a career technical trade, which will make you more employable in this type of economy, which is pretty difficult. Not to mention the amount of certifications offered free of charge. You know, if you were to do this on your own, you know, it'd be pretty costly to try to obtain these certifications. And many people are not even aware of that.
When I first thought about doing computers, it was back in high school. I was doing radio and television actually during the school, and then I noticed I was working on the computers a lot more than actually going out and doing interviews. So I started taking them apart, and I realized I really liked that. So I did some more research, and I found out I could do it in the military. I wanted to go to the military, but my mother said, maybe you should try something a little less, you know, a little less militant. So she told me to go to Job Corps, and so far I liked it a lot. And I've learned I could be able to pass this test quickly as possible. There's going to be some hands-on training also that comes along with it, and I'll be able to go and get into internships too. I would never thought I'd be able to accomplish so much in so little. With Job Corps, I guess it is possible, you know.
Because this is a place where you don't have to know anything about computers. You can start off here and learn what you need to learn, beginning with the basics.
For one, this is 100% free. That's real. You know, young people seeking education today have to take out student loans. Wherever they go for training, they want financial aid no longer cuts it. They talk about all this federal grant. It's not enough. These training schools are pushing for students to take out loans. I have students that have taken out $15,000, $20,000 loans. Now they're coming to us. We are 100% free.
You know, where the pancreas, and this is a model that my teacher uses to show us where exactly everything is in the human body when she's teaching us the systems, the body systems.
Ray Vaughn, who's in the medical assistant training program, says Brooklyn Job Corps is like her home away from home.
Definitely my life has changed being in Job Corps. I never knew. I've always heard about Job Corps before, But, you know, also dropouts and stuff, it's not like that. It's definitely not like that. And whenever I meet someone and they ask me what school I go to, I tell them it's Job Corps. And they're like, huh? I'm like, it will change your life. Even your fellow peers around the school, it becomes like a family that you don't have outside. You understand?
So that makes a difference in your education?
Definitely, because you want to come here every day. Because you feel like if you don't have it at home, you can come here and you'll get it.
Some of these individuals coming from the inner city, when you're placed with these opportunities, it may be difficult to adapt. It's a different setting, a different environment. Here, you're trained on that, you know, and it's a family atmosphere where it doesn't matter which department you're in, everybody pitch in, and you know, it's a family atmosphere that fosters growth.
For Brooklyn Review, I'm Fred Brown.
Punk rock, by definition, is stripped down, hard-edged, and often political. Conceived during the 70s mainly in New York City and the United Kingdom, punk rock artists are still challenging the establishment. In Russia, the all-girl punk rock group Pussy Riot is paying a price for their artistic expression, and their punishment is prompting protests around the world.
Striped colorful stockings and a funky hat are not her regular outfit, but that's what fits perfectly for a rally to support Pussy Riot, the now jailed Russian punk provocateur band.
I do that because for me as a musician it's the right thing to do, and they deserve some support. Whatever happened, you know, whatever happened to them is not right. The jail time, being them in prison and all of that is all wrong.
With a guitar over her shoulder, the Brooklyn punk and rock singer Elena Grapel, a Russian immigrant, takes the Church Street subway and, joined by other activists, heads to Manhattan. At least 24 cities worldwide held demonstrations an hour before a Moscow court ruled that the band members be sentenced to prison. In New York, the crowd staged a protest by the Russian consulate. And later they marched to Times Square.
Pussy Riot. No one should be quiet. Free Pussy Riot. No one should be quiet.
Celebrities from Madonna to Sting to Paul McCartney encouraged the convicted women. Madonna appeared on stage wearing Pussy Riot's trademark balaclava at a concert in Moscow. The world had known little about the three Russian girls, Nadezhda, Maria and Ekaterina, before their impromptu performance in the Christ the Savior Cathedral in February. They danced, high-kicked, and shouted the words of what they called punk prayer to spare their home country from Vladimir Putin's power before the election in March that was about to bring him to the third presidential term. The band members were arrested on charges of hooliganism, which carried a maximum sentence of 7 years. While they were expecting the judge's decision, their songs reverberated around the world.
Oppression, your kingdom must go down. Oppression, your kingdom must go down.
I'm here today standing in solidarity with Pussy Riot. I think that what they did does not deserve a 2-year sentence nor a 1-year sentence. I think that what they did was speak truth to power.
Pussy Riot have expressed the opinion of many people like me in Russia, and they have done that for all of us.
The US State Department called it a politically motivated persecution of the Russian opposition and pressure on those who express dissenting views, though the United States government itself has been often accused of double standards. The persecution of the WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, is the most infamous example. Yet at the rallies in support of the Russian band, some were critical at the girls' provocative act.
My concern is do not go to the cathedral with your crap. Let's put it this way. Stay away, go in the streets, criticize Putin, criticize Medvedev, criticize the church, criticize the Vatican. I don't care. But do not go to the church. People were upset because of their religious beliefs.
Wake up! Wake up!
Elena and other supporters of the band say they won't stop protesting the injustice. The Pussy Riot members will be behind bars for up to 2 years, but the music of the revolution they spark will continue to play. For Brooklyn Review, this is Julia Vassie.
Every year, the Audre Lorde Project's Safe Outside the System initiative sponsors Bed-Stuy Pride, a community gathering for creating safe spaces in central Brooklyn. And according to a national study, those efforts are increasingly important, with violence against self-identified lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans increasing by 13%. In New York City, violence against LGBT people of color increased by 25%, while assaults on transgender individuals were up 69%. Anna Lamont Salisbury reports from Bed-Stuy Pride.
If you're straight, you're welcome in our house of God. If you're gay, you're welcome there. If you're lesbian, you're welcome. If you're a bisexual person, you're welcome there. If you're a lesbian, transgender woman, you're welcome there. If you're a transgender, heterosexual, you're welcome there as well. So however you show up on the spectrum, there's a place that you can go.
Deacon Jermaine David Moses Rufus Green of Unity Fellowship of Christ Church was one of many activists from the LGBT community gathered for the second annual Bed-Stuy Pride 2012, challenging violence and rebuilding resilience.
We basically wanted to create an event that recognized and celebrated the diversity in central Brooklyn. So unfortunately, the majority of violence that LGBT people face, there's sort of an intersection where race really impacts that, and so LGBT people of color definitely face more violence, unfortunately, than a lot of our counterparts.
National reports on violence have been touting on a decrease in violence. Hate crimes against people who identify as transgender are up in New York City by 69% and people of color by 25%. There were workshops about navigating gendered public space, collections for the expenses of survivors of anti-gay assaults, and an array of information on community-building resources. And like any party, there were many activities to enjoy and vendors to peruse.
To earrings, to barrettes, I also do pocketbooks and backpacks, and I make them all by hand.
It's from our Gorin collection, and again, it's the top of the line. Well, first of all, it's a beautiful day to be out. I'm here to support Bed-Stuy Pride. And being a business person within the community, I just think it's very important to come out and support what it is they're doing here today.
While this event focused on safe spaces for LGBTQ community members to be visible, some members of the LGBTQ community feel excluded within their own community. Gail Brown is a citywide outreach coordinator for SAGE, an advocacy group of seniors.
Well, unfortunately, the United States as a whole is youth-oriented, and that doesn't exclude the LGBT community. We find that in different offerings across the city, it often leaves out the LGBT seniors, who's often right there, but we're not catered to, we're not often we're not even thought of, or invisible, thank you. A lot of times we are invisible. Also, when you think about what's going on in the city as far as safety, this being the safe outside the system, LGBT seniors are the most preyed upon population in the city. How else can you explain, what's the word I'm trying to find, vulnerable you are as one, LGBT, and secondly, LGBT senior. You need some help navigating the dangerous world that is New York City.
And just like seniors are not always recognized in the LGBT community, neither are people of color, according to these attendees.
It's important to show like all sides of the struggle and the things that we go through, especially as a person who lives in central Brooklyn. living in Crown Heights, it is, you know, there's a lot of violence, there is a lot of heterosexism and homophobia and transphobia. And as a man of trans experience, you know, I think it's important to support, you know, my community. The LGBT community is very diverse, and a lot of times our voices are often ignored and silenced.
Well, that brings this Brooklyn Review to a close. If you missed anything or you just have to see it again after missing us for the summer, go ahead and visit us at our home on the web at bricartsmedia.org. We're also on YouTube, iTunes. You can even tweet us. Now, as promised, some of the sights and sounds from Brooklyn's Labor Day Parade. Bye now.
So, what country does this represent?
This is from Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh,
this is what is known as traditional mask, and we are the characters known as Dame Lorraines.
Ah, so this is history. Where did y'all learn how to do this?
Well, culture. It's culture. It's our culture.
So we salute our teachers. Classroom where matters.
What part do you like about it?
Well, I like that the people that make the costumes, they put so much work into it. They use their glue guns, their needles, and sometimes they're actually hurting themselves with these type of materials. They're burning themselves, they're sticking themselves, but at the end of the day, they're making a very beautiful costume.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at bricartsmedia.org/BIT.